belt driving on suspended operators, obstructing an officer and failure to think. Are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Eldon, are you ready to proceed, sir?
I am Ted. I am the living man. I go by the name Ted Eldon. I have information for the board today, yes.
Okay. Mr. Eldon, I think I've got some motions here that were filed that I want to go over with you prior to starting here. Do you state have any pre-trial motions?
No, Your Honor.
For some reason, there they are. Mr. Eldon, are you representing yourself here today?
I'm here. I am a real person. I'm not representing anybody. I am the living man. I go by the name Ted Eldon.
Okay. This is notice to principal is notice to agent. Notice to agent is notice to principal motion. Would you like to explain to me what this motion exactly means?
May I see what you're holding?
Right here, sir. And I'm just not sure. It's signed by you. I assume that's your signature, sir. I got that by certified mail the day before yesterday.
Oh, well, this is bringing up jurisdiction and constitutional issues, that's all.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on those motions. Is there anything you want to say in reference to those motions, Mr. Eldon?
Well, you're saying plural. I believe that's a single letter. Why are you saying it's...
Well, I don't even know that I consider it a motion. I think I can. I'm not quite sure. You're stating that the court has no jurisdiction to hear the case. That's what I get out of this. Would that be the case?
Well, I think there are two issues, and then there's the breach of the Constitution.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say in reference to that before I rule on this?
Well, I think the letter is clear on what it says. I don't know that I can say anything more than what it
I'll
says.
just give you an opportunity to if you want to. Okay. Does the state have anything to say in reference to the motion? The state's reviewed it.
Yes, Your Honor, we did receive a copy.
Do you have anything to say in reference to that?
We object, Your Honor, we allege these crimes that occur in Putnam County, West Virginia, with the proper venue.
Okay. The court is going to deny your
May I make
motion.
a comment?
You can.
I'm just having difficulty hearing people. If you would speak louder and
Sure.
more slowly.
We can do that. We got some voices around here.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
Did you hear what she said?
Not
Go
entirely.
ahead. Do it again.
Okay. The state alleges that the crimes occurred in Putnam County, West Virginia, so therefore I argue that we have the proper jurisdiction and venue here.
Can you name for me the many attributes of jurisdiction?
Many attributes of
Right.
jurisdiction, like
Well, you said you have
Meets and
jurisdiction, but it
bounds
has
of the
many
county.
attributes, so they are...
they are crimes that have been
No.
codified
What
by
are
the
the elements
legislature
of jurisdiction?
of West Virginia.
Yeah, the elements of jurisdiction. Well, I would think there's the
Okay, Mr.
subject
Eldon, she doesn't
matter.
have to answer questions.
Okay.
I'm going to rule in favor of the state because I believe that Putnam County has jurisdiction over this case.
But we haven't even defined what
Okay.
jurisdiction is.
Okay, sir, you may disagree with that, but that's my
Okay.
answer to it,
Okay,
okay?
I'm
So-
sorry.
Okay. State, call your first
I
witness.
object.
I understand.
Okay.
State Call Sergeant Shamblin.
Sir, raise your right hand, please. You swear from the information about gives testimony is the truth, the whole truth, and the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
And what is your name?
Sergeant Shamblin.
And you're a sergeant with the Putnam County Sheriff Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you working in that capacity back on or about November 12, 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me specifically what sort of patrol you were doing that day.
Clicker ticket patrol.
And what is that?
I didn't hear what he said. Somebody and take it.
Yeah, speak up.
Just give them a recording back there. We don't have a recording to proceed.
Speak up. Speak up.
Can you hear me, Mr. Ellis? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Clicker ticket patrol.
Click. Oh.
And just briefly, can you tell me what that is? What's clicker ticket?
Well, clicker today, we just are looking for violators of people who are not wearing their seat belts, their safety belts.
Okay. And so during your shift, were you in the vicinity of Route 25 in the Nitro area?
Yes.
And where were you exactly?
I was parked stationary beside the southbound lane in front of the Wendy's restaurant.
And that was southbound lane of Route 25?
That's correct.
Could I ask you a question?
Not yet, sir. You'll have a chance here in just a second, okay?
And can you tell us which is southbound? Is that towards Institute or towards Poca?
It's going toward Institute.
And as you sat there, did you see a white Ford Escort?
Yes.
And what was it about that vehicle or driver that caught your attention?
The white Ford Escort was traveling in a northbound lane, and the driver of the Escort was not wearing a safety belt.
I object.
And how could you see that from?
Hold on. What's your objection, sir?
Well, what he says is not true.
Okay, this is how it works, Mr. Dillon. The
Okay.
state will put their case on
Okay.
and ask questions to their witness,
Right.
and then you'll have an opportunity to cross-examine this witness about anything you want.
May I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Well, if there's something that's not right, don't I need to object or else?
This is their case. They're
Right.
putting on.
Well, they can say what they want, but I
That's
just want to
correct.
lodge an
And
objection.
you're going to get, you got your objection lodged,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
But you'll get a chance to cross-examine.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
And approximately what time of day was this?
It was in the evening hours. It was dark.
And so explain first how you could see that the driver was not wearing a seatbelt when it was dark outside.
In that area, it's very well lit. It's a very well lit intersection through the restaurants in the area. You can see the occupants of the vehicles.
And is that why you stationed yourself there?
Correct.
And so what happened after you saw the vehicle with
Hold on. What's
traveling?
your objection?
Well, what he's saying is not true.
Okay, I don't want to say this again, okay? You're going to get a chance here in just a minute. I promise you I'll give you a chance.
But don't I have to object as things occur or else
You
they're not?
you
Yeah.
can, but
Okay.
when you cross-examine, that'll be your chance to ask him
Okay.
these things, okay?
I'm absolutely new at this.
You're
I
doing
appreciate
okay.
your help.
You're doing okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
And let me ask you, which lane in the northbound side of Route 25 was this vehicle in? Are there two lanes there heading north?
Yeah, well, in that area, there's a northbound lane and also a lane that will eventually turn into a turning lane that goes back into an industrial park. He was in the travel north lane.
Okay. And so what happened as you saw the driver go by without the seatbelt?
I pulled out on the roadway and executed a traffic stop on the vehicle at the Exxon, which is, I would estimate, about a quarter mile up the road from where I saw him.
Okay. And let me ask you, the area where you first saw the vehicle near Wendy's, and then also where you stopped at the Exxon, what county is that in?
That is in Putnam County,
What state is Putnam County in?
West Virginia,
And what country is West Virginia in?
the United States of America.
So what happened after the vehicle pulled over for you at Exxon?
I approached the driver. I did notice that he was not wearing a safety belt. He only cracked the window down maybe
Go ahead.
about 2 inches. I asked him, I identified myself, who I was, and I advised him why I was stopping him. I asked to see his driver's license, his registration insurance card. He advised me that he did not have one.
Okay, let me ask you, what were you wearing?
I was wearing my regular Class A uniform, police uniform,
Okay. And what were you driving?
a marked police cruiser.
And so when you say that the driver told you he didn't have one, was that in reference to one of those specifically?
Yeah, it seemed like it was specific to the driver's license.
Okay. And so after he told you, I don't have a driver's license, what'd you say?
I'm like, well, okay, you don't have. I mean, are they suspended? Are they revoked? Or you just not have it on you? And then he stated something to the effect that I was not in contract to talk with him, and that he was not driving; he was traveling on the roadway.
And so then what happened?
After that witty banter for a few seconds, him not be able to produce his driver's license or give me the proper information. I told him that I was going to place him under arrest if he didn't cooperate with what I needed. He then placed his seatbelt on and told me that the problem has been solved and he's free to leave now.
Object, object.
And so what happened after he said that he was free to leave now?
Told him he was not free to leave. He then started to place his vehicle and drive. I told him to stop and not to go anywhere, and he started to drive off very slowly. He did that maybe for about 300 to 400 feet, where he then placed his vehicle back in park. At that time when he was driving off, I was yelling at him and walking beside the car. He was not going very fast, telling him to stop and get the car back in park. I advised him to exit the vehicle, but he was then under arrest. He refused to do so. Then I applied one burst of pepper spray into the vehicle. He refused to unlock the door, so I had to go back to my cruiser to obtain my aspeton, and I broke out the passenger window to remove the driver.
And why didn't you break out the driver's side where the driver was sitting?
I didn't want to break glass out into his face.
And so what happened after you broke out the window on the passenger side?
After that, we were able to unlock the door, the driver's side door, and remove it from the vehicle.
And then what happened?
We placed him against the car. He kept continued trying to turn around. We gave him numerous commands to place his hands behind his back. He kept trying to remove one of the hands from the cuff, and he was not cooperating at that point.
Okay.
And so then what happened?
After that, we were able to get his hands in handcuffs, and he was taken to the courthouse in Putnam County in Winfield for processing.
And did you ascertain his name was Henry Eldon?
I did.
And how did you ascertain that?
Via paperwork that was located in the
What kind of paperwork was in the vehicle?
I really don't know what it was. It seemed like a document, sovereign citizen documents.
Okay.
And let me ask, how did you obtain Mr. Eldon's social security number?
Once I got the appropriate information, I was able to run in some information to Putnam County Dispatch.
Okay.
And did that turn up his social security number 235783366?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And did that also tell you anything about his driver's license?
It did reveal that his driver's license are suspended.
And as part of your processing, where did you take him?
I brought him here to the courthouse for processing.
Okay. And where's the courthouse located?
Winfield, West Virginia. Putnam County.
And let me ask, what did you do as part of your processing of Mr. Eldon?
Part of the processing is fingerprinting, where Mr. Eldon refused to submit his fingerprint.
And what do you mean he refused to submit to fingerprinting?
Yeah, he just said he wasn't going to do fingerprint stuff.
And is that a required part of processing?
Yes, it is.
And then let me ask you, the man you saw driving, who you ascertained his name was Henry Eldon, is he in this room?
Yes, ma'am, he is.
Please point him out for the court and describe for me what he's wearing.
He's wearing a blue long-sleeve shirt, corduroy pants.
Thank you, Your Honor. Will you let the record reflect he's identified the defendant?
The witness, yes, the witness.
Your Honor, I have marked State's Exhibit 1. I have a copy for Mr. Eldon. This is his copy, not that.
Oh, trade.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's for you. And you just submit that. Sergeant Shamblin, since you have that in your hands, what's the name for those records?
Henry Theodore Eldon, Jr.
And does that have a seal from the State of West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
All right, this time, Your Honor, I will move State's Exhibit 1 into evidence. Based on its face, it is self-authenticating as records of the state of West Virginia.
Hearsay, object.
Mr. Elton, have you had time to review those documents?
I asked for all information available from the sheriff and the court and the prosecuting attorney before this trial, and it was all refused to me. I think it's my right, and there's a U.S. code that says specifically lawyers, attorneys cannot abrogate rights by their rules. So I should have been given all this information before.
Is there a motion for discovery?
I am not certain.
I don't have.
I did not have a motion for discovery in my file.
I personally came with witnesses, yeah, and was refused by everyone.
Do you need some more time to review that?
I have no idea what this is, nor is it properly identified or connected, but I'm looking at it.
Okay,
Just
go
a
ahead.
few minutes. Gosh, it's many pages.
You can have some time to look at it.
I am seeing things I certainly have never seen before. And I don't see that it's certified information or anything. It all seems to be printed out, and I think it's hearsay, as it's not evidence from a live person. But continue. I have no idea what this is all about. I don't understand.
Certification on there, I haven't seen the document yet.
Yes,
Are you submitting that?
yes. I moved that into evidence.
This one page is out of order. I'm not sure where it goes. Can you put it back in where it belongs?
Mr. Elton, I will tell you that the front of this document has the certification from the Concealed and Marked Motor Vehicles Act. And the court considers that
Let me just see
proper
the front page.
authentication.
Okay, so all of these came from one source, and this person is responsible that all of this is true and accurate.
Yes, sir.
But it's not true and accurate at all.
I understand.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Anything else for discussion?
No, on state roads.
Now, Mr. Elton, this is your turn to ask questions of the officer. It's not your turn to testify, sir. Just your turn to cross-examine him about what he's testifying.
May we delay that so that I can do a few things first?
Like what, sir?
Well, first of all, I've made known to everyone and put it in the newspaper and also at the county court in Pinal County that I have reserved all of my rights, one of which being that I am only to be called before a common law court.
Okay, let's hold off on that
Right.
until after we cross-examine him.
Well, it seems to me that would be the foundation of
No,
everything.
sir. No, sir, let's do this first, and then when you present your case, that's when
You're trying to get me to enter your jurisdiction without understanding that I have declined in writing. And see, I even wrote a letter to the sheriff of this county a year ago about this.
Okay, Mr. Elton, that right now is not considered part of what I'm going to do. What
Will I
would
get an
like you to
opportunity
do-
to present that?
What I'd like you to do is cross-examine this witness. If you choose not to, I'm going to set him down, you're going to lose your opportunity.
I would like to cross-examine him.
Okay, and then we'll take up those issues.
Okay, you're
Okay.
certain that I can get into these other
Well,
issues?
yeah, I certainly will
Okay.
let you have the floor.
May I ask you one question before we continue? Do either of those flags have a gold edge to them
I don't know, sir.
and/or an ornament on the top and tassels? Just, that indicates that this is not a common law court. So I'm proceeding under the threat of force of arms as I was before him. Okay, I have questions for him. All written down.
Mr. Eldon, if you want to use that table, you're welcome to lay your documents out. That'll help. Now, you got some satchels there.
I do. All right, would you repeat your name, please?
Sergeant Shamblin.
Do you have a middle name or a first name? Or,
I do have a middle name and a first name.
and would you reveal those?
First name is Shane.
Your middle name?
Madison.
And your address?
Your Honor, I'll object if he's asking for his personal information. He wants the address of the sheriff's department, then I don't have it.
Address in the sheriff's office.
Well, I think this man has attacked me, and I need to know who he is.
Yeah, I think he's properly answered that question.
Okay, all right. Do you understand that you're under sworn testimony here, that any lie that you would make could be penalized, penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America?
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that.
Are you trained for your work?
Yes, sir.
And what training did you have?
State Police Academy.
And how long was that?
16 weeks.
Okay. Is that there in your institute?
Yes, sir. It is in it.
Okay, my father did some design work for that.
Oh, wonderful.
And how long did you say, 6 weeks?
I'm sorry?
6 weeks? Did you say?
16.
16 weeks.
I wish it was 6 weeks. That'd been a lot better.
All right, good deal. I'm glad you have a sense of humor, sir. I hope we can keep all this light. That's a good idea. Are you like a bailiff or a sheriff or both?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Could I have your name? We'll get to that later. All right. So you had this academy, and they had books and they had teachers. Do you remember a primary teacher you might have had regarding issues of law?
Your Honor, I'll object to the relevance.
Law or nothing is the law. That's what it's trying to enforce.
It's this thing.
Okay.
Move on.
So who is your employer?
Putnam County Commission.
Putnam County Commission,
Yes, sir.
not the sheriff's department.
Well, the commission's who's on my paycheck, so I guess that'll be my employer.
Interesting. Putnam County Commission. Is that a public body or a? You don't know? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if it was your government agency or a private company. You don't know, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the qualifying requirements to be authorized as a deputy sheriff? You're a deputy sheriff, right?
I am the deputy sheriff.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'll object to relevance.
I'm trying to establish, which I couldn't establish that night.
A little bit with this, go ahead.
Okay.
What was the question
What's
again?
qualified?
Yeah, what were qualifying elements to be a deputy sheriff? Okay, you take the course. Anything else? Wear a uniform?
But you gotta pass the civil service exam, and then you gotta go through the state police academy.
Okay. And is there some ceremony when you start becoming such a person, or?
I mean, there's a graduation ceremony at the academy.
And they give you a uniform and badge or something?
The department actually supplies that, sir, not the academy.
The sheriff's department?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the sheriff's department is contributing to what you're doing, but the Putnam County Commission is the one who employs you.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand how that works. Okay. Could you describe to me what is your full uniform?
Right now,
Well, I think it has meaning, the term full uniform.
well, as you see, it's a long sleeve shirt with a star on the chest, patches denoting the county I work for.
Well, the star you mentioned is, that's a, what do we call a star? It's a
Mr.
badge.
Eldon, I don't really know where we're going with this.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if
If you
and
wanna
when he's
ask
in
me
full
if this is a
uniform.
uniform that was issued, then that's fine.
But uniform is not a matter of clothing, it is
I'm not gonna
specific.
allow it, sir. Move on to the next question.
Okay, well, do you carry a gun or handcuffs or?
Yes,
reins?
sir. I do carry both of those items.
Okay, I listed three.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear, what was the last item?
A gun, what kind of a gun?
Uh,
9mm or?
Okay, again, Mr. Elton, I don't see where this has any relevance here. I wanna move on.
Okay, I don't believe that he was in full uniform that evening, but I can't determine that. Do you do an oath when you become a deputy sheriff?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall, is that oath publicly recorded somewhere?
I do not recall.
Okay, so you don't know the requirements about the oath.
No, sir.
Do you remember what the oath was about?
No, sir.
Okay, I think that the oath is something that you should do every day when you're
I'll
on the job.
object, this is not a
Sustained.
question.
Well, if he doesn't know what the oath is, how can he
Okay,
abide by
that
it?
may be the argument at closing. That's the information he gave. You can't sit and beat him up about what he's saying.
Well, so he doesn't have knowledge about what his oath says.
Again, sir, that's all closing matters. Right now, you're just asking questions pertinent to what was testified to.
Well, I want to know if he knows what the oath says.
And he said no, he did not.
Okay.
Answer.
But you swore to uphold an oath, and you
Objection,
don't know what it
answer.
is.
Sustained, move on.
Okay. All right, what is a person on the street to think when they see your flashing lights? What does that indicate?
Objection, speculation.
Well, he doesn't know that?
I'm, overruled, answer the question.
It could mean either to pull over to the side to let the emergency vehicle pass, or to pull over because you're being pulled over.
Okay, I understand that part about when you see lights, you should clear the way because it's an emergency
Your
vehicle.
Honor, I'll object. Is this a question? Because that's all you can do right now, is ask
It's
questions.
questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, if my form wasn't right, okay. But there also, you could be stopping somebody.
That's correct.
Okay, so legally, or in law, what are your provision to turn on your emergency lights? You say to either indicate an emergency or to stop someone.
Correct.
So to indicate an emergency, I thought you had to either be following an emergency or chasing a felon with whom you had personal knowledge.
Objection, Your Honor, is that a question?
Just a question, sir.
Okay, so you believe that to turn on your signaling lights is reason to stop an unknown condition of a person in the car?
No, that's not correct.
We'll say it correctly.
For me to do that, if a violation occurs in front of me, West Virginia State Law, Chapter 17C, which is the motor vehicle law, and I will turn my lights on to execute a traffic stop for that violation.
Okay, and so on a traffic stop, you need a probable cause.
Reasonable suspicion.
Are those two the same?
A little bit different, yeah.
Well, could you explain their difference? I don't know.
Your Honor, I'll object. This is more legal
Well,
argument.
he's
which,
made a sworn statement that he had a
This is
probable
what
cause.
attorneys and judges do, not what witnesses.
Sustained, move on.
Okay, so you're not going to explain why you stopped. What was the reason? Okay.
No, you can ask that question.
Okay, well, what is the reason? What is the reason you stopped?
Because you were not wearing your safety belt, sir.
And how did you know that?
Because when you drove past me, I observed you not wearing your safety belt.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Was there a breach of the peace? Had I injured anybody? Was there a breach of the peace?
I did not see any injured people, no, sir.
Okay, were there other people in my car?
I did not observe anything.
Was there any thing in my car that I might have been hauling somewhere to charge a fee?
Like,
Well, packages or something to deliver. Was I?
no, I did not observe anything like that.
So there was no commercial activity you observed about me at that time?
I don't believe so.
Okay. The criminal complaint itself, I'd like that placed on the record, and I can bring out a copy thereof, which is his report. Should I get my copies
Your Honor,
out?
the criminal complaint is part of the record.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can I look at one and ask questions?
Certainly. Do you have your copies or do you need?
Well, I think I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, so now I'm looking at the criminal complaint. I think we're all on the same page here. You have a copy yourself? I don't have several. Okay, I only have one. But just for the record, so we all know we're talking about the same thing, just read the first sentence on down to the word not guilty.
Okay.
Okay?
right now?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so we know we're talking about the same thing.
Okay. On 11/12/2016, this deputy was on routine patrol on Route 25 in Nitro, Putnam County.
Perfect, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So this is your sworn statement,
Correct.
and under the penalties of perjury, everything here you say is true, or else you're perjured yourself.
Judge can ask an answer.
What?
It's been asked and answered. Just say.
Okay. Did you have anything you want to add or change to this report?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right, and does the report, okay, you mentioned not wearing a seatbelt, and that's from your observation, you say. All right, when you spoke earlier today, I think you said that I drove 300 or 400 feet. Yeah, after you were talking to me. But in the report it says specifically 100 feet. I wondered if you wanted to bring those two thoughts together.
Yeah. All those are estimations.
Well, that's a big difference between 1 and 400, but anyway, okay. But you say that you stopped me on the gas station lot.
Correct.
Right, okay. That is what I'm saying. Okay. And can you tell me other people who have signed this report? I think there's Stone there, and I suppose this is you, and who's that person there? Yeah.